Hello everyone, this is Dr. Ashok Kumar from Government Women Engineering College Ajmer. This is lecture 3 on antenna basics and electromagnetic theory, and in lecture 3 we are going to discuss about vector potential approach, then their solution of the wave equation. The following contents will be addressed during this lecture 3 of antenna basics and electromagnetic theory. Initially, the derivation of vector potential approach or function is calculated. Then the solution of the wave equation is discussed. Then the solution procedure to find or out the electric and magnetic field from the above mentioned procedure. The following reference books are considered to prepare the contents of this lecture 3. First, we need to discuss about vector potential approach. The vector potential approach is used to determine the EHN field due to the current distribution. As we have discussed in the previous lecture, I mean lecture 2 of this series, about the calculation of electric and magnetic field using direct integration or integral equation method, and using the integration then the differentiation method. So we have discussed that we are considering the second method. So if in this lecture we are considering the second step procedure. So in the analysis, the relationship between the vector potential and the current distribution as the E and H field are derived. So we are considering the four Maxwell equations, and that four Maxwell equations are embedded in this relationship. Let the last of the Maxwell equation, we can say del dot B is equal to 0. It means divergence of magnetic field equal to 0. Since the curl of a vector field is a divergence free vector quantity, it means del dot del cross A equal to 0. So we can represent the magnetic field B, a curl of an arbitrary vector field A from this identity. So we call this is a magnetic vector potential function because it is related to the magnetic flux density via the relation. So by considering this identity and the Maxwell equation, through which we can calculate the equation of B, magnetic flux density B is equal to del cross A, where B is equal to mu into S, that we have discussed in lecture 2 of this series. Then by using this expression of 11, we can calculate the magnetic field H, which is equal to 1 by mu del cross A. Substituting this equation into del cross E is equal to minus j omega mu into H, and this is the Maxwell first equation. And in this Maxwell first equation, we are putting the value of magnetic field H from the equation 11 to in this Maxwell equation. Then we can get del cross E plus j omega A equal to 0. Here you can see the expression of traveler A. Since the curl of a gradient function is 0, and this is known as a vector identity, which is equal to del cross del B is equal to 0. So the above equation suggests that the quantity is in brackets can be replaced by the gradient of a scalar function. So the gradient of a scalar function B can be calculated or can be defined in the expression of 13, and here you can see E plus j omega A equal to minus del of V from this equation, and we have replaced as a gradient of scalar function. So the negative signs come here in equation 13. So by using equation 13, we can relate the electric field to the potential functions as E is equal to minus del V plus j omega A. So this is the electric field equation that we have calculated by considering the Maxwell first equation and the solution of the magnetic field using the vector identity and the Maxwell equation del dot B is equal to 0, through which we have calculated the value of electric field. So equation 11a and 14 relate the H and E field to the potential function A and B. Now to satisfy the Maxwell's second equation, del cross E is equal to j omega E plus j. Substitute the expression for E and H field in terms of potential function. So by considering this equation 11a and 14, we can calculate the expression of 1 by mu del cross A equal to minus j omega epsilon del V plus j omega A plus j. So I mean we are directly putting the equation of H and equation or expression of E in this Maxwell's second equation. Then after we are getting the expression of 15, and this expression is valid for a homogeneous medium only. So expanding the left hand side using the vector identity, and this is the vector identity del cross A is equal to del bracket of del dot A minus del square A. So this is the vector identity, and this vector identity we are considering or applying in equation number 15, then we are getting the expression that we have written in equation 17. Since the curl and divergence are the two independent parts of any vector field, so we can now define the divergence of A. So we can define del dot A so as to relate A and B, as well as simplifying the equation 17 that we have calculated by eliminating the second term on the right hand side of the equation. So this is the second term. So we can relate the A and B by the equation del dot A is equal to minus j omega mu epsilon B V. So this is represented in expression 18, and it is called as the Lorentz condition. With this the magnetic potential vector A satisfy the wave equation. So del square A plus k square A is equal to minus, so here you can see del square A plus k square A is equal to minus mu j, and this is the Lorentz equation, and this value we are getting equal to 0. So we can say del square A plus k square A equal to minus mu j. So this is the vector wave equation where k is equal to omega root mu epsilon. From this equation 17 you can see the value of k, and k is known as a propagation constant, and we have measured in terms of radian per meter in the medium. Now to satisfy Maxwell fourth equation del dot D is equal to rho, we substitute E equal to minus ka del V plus j omega A in this equation. Then we have calculated the value of A, so we are putting in the value of A in Maxwell equation del dot D is equal to rho. So we are getting this expression del square V plus j omega del dot A equal to minus ka rho upon epsilon. So eliminating A from this equation using the Lorentz condition, as we have discussed in equation 18, here is the Lorentz condition. Then del square V plus k square V is equal to minus ka rho by epsilon. So here you can see one equation is del square A plus k square is equal to mu j, and another is the del square A plus k square V is equal to minus ka rho by epsilon. So the both A and B must satisfy the wave equation. So the source function being the current density from the magnetic vector potential A and the charge density for the electric scalar potential function V. Then further we have calculated the solution of the wave equation as we have calculated in equation 19 and equation 21, and these equation solutions can be calculated, and while considering a spherically symmetric charge distribution of finite volume V centered on the origin. So our goal is to compute the scalar potential function V, and we have represent in terms of x, y, z coordinate, or we can represent in terms of spherical coordinates r, theta and phi due to this source, which is the solution of a inhomogeneous wave equation as given by equation 21. So this equation 21. Since the charge is spherically symmetric, we will solve the wave equation in spherical coordinate system. So by considering the Laplacian del square V in the spherical coordinate system by using this expression 22, So the scalar potential function V in terms of spherical coordinate system produced by a spherically symmetric charge distribution and is independent of theta and phi. So the wave equation 21 can be reduced. So this is the equation 21, and this equation we are considering by using the equation 22. Then we are getting the wave equation in terms of spherical coordinates 1 by r square and del upon del r square del v upon del r plus k square v is equal to minus rho by epsilon. So by using expression 13, and here you can see the right hand side of the equation is 0 everywhere except at the source itself. So we are considering the value of right hand side of equation 23 is 0, and so this equation becomes 23 and we can express in equation 24. So solution of the V uh, here of, or we can say the solution of the equation 24 in spherical waves can be represented by V of r equal to V naught plus minus e की power minus plus j k r upon r. So by using expression 25 we can calculate the value of scalar potential and or scalar function V, where V plus is a complex amplitude constant and e की power minus j k r upon r is a spherical wave traveling in the plus r direction. Similarly, V minus is the complex amplitude of scalar spherical wave e की power j k r upon r and traveling in the minus r direction. So by substituting this value in wave equation, it can be shown that it satisfies the homogeneous wave equation. So we have considered the instantaneous scalar potential function VRT for a wave propagating in plus r direction. VRT is equal to real part of V plus e की power j omega t minus kr upon r. So by using this expression we have considered the scalar potential function. So here V plus is the complex quantity, as we have discussed, and can be expressed in terms of V plus is equal to magnitude of V plus e की power j psi V, where phi V is the phase of V plus. So the equation of the constant phase spherical wavefronts is phi V plus omega t minus kr is equal to constant. From this equation you will get, when we are putting the value of V plus naught in this equation 25, then from this equation phi of V plus omega of t minus kr is equal to constant. So the velocity of the wave is the rate at which the constant phase front moves with time. Differentiating this expression for the constant phase front surface with respect to time, so we have differentiate. So del phi v upon dt equal to 0 we will get, and we are getting omega and j omega minus jk dr upon dt equal to 0 from the equation 26. So the velocity of the wave can be expressed, and v equal to dr upon dt is equal to omega by k. So from this equation we can calculate, and this is the radial distance and this is the time. So ratio of radial distance to time is called as the velocity. V equal to dr upon dt is equal to omega by k. So this is the important expression for the calculation of the wave. Further, we are calculating the propagation constant value that we from the equation 19a, and this equation we have discussed in the previous lecture. So wave velocity we have represented in terms of root of mu into epsilon, and which is equal to 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second for a free space wave equation. The distance between the points that are separated is phased by 2 pi radian is known as the wavelength lambda of the wave. So we have considered two important points r1 and r2 on the wave with corresponding phases. This is the phase phi 1 and this is the phi 2, and the difference of these two phases equal to multiples of 2 pi, and this is called as a wavelength multiplied by the phase constant, and through which we can calculate the wavelength and propagation constant k equal to 2 pi upon lambda from the equation 30. So this is the value of k is equal to 2 pi upon lambda. And the solution of the calculation of the wave velocity as well as propagation constant and phase difference is required for the when we are going to analyze the different kinds of antennas. So to understand the process of the solution of the wave equation, we have considered a static point charge q that is located at a position h dash, y dash and z dash, and we need to calculate the field at a point p x y z, or we can say p r theta and phi with the position vector r that we have represented using the electrostatic theory. V r theta phi is equal to charge q upon 4 pi epsilon r. So this is the generalized expression that we have discussed during the electrostatic field, where r is the distance between the charge and the observation point. So this is the charge, or we can say source to the field point, and which is equal to r equal to magnitude of r equal to r minus r dash, which is equal to r. From this figure 5 we have calculated the value of r, and we can calculate the value of v. If there are more than one point charges, this equation is valid for the one point charges. If there are more than one charges exist, the potential is obtained by superposition principle, and its superposition principle states that the summing that contribution of all the point charges. If the source is specified as a charge density distribution over a volume, the potential at any field point is obtained by integration over the surface volume. So we understood this process of, we first consider a small volume delta V dash centered on R dash. Here you can see centered and on R dash. The charge contained in this volume rho, charge density, we have considered rho R dash del V dash, where rho R dash is the volume charge density distribution function. So in the limit delta V dash if tends to 0, it means the charge we have considered as a point charge, and we can compute the potential field point r due to the charge contained in the volume delta V dash, and that we have calculated delta V r theta phi is equal to by this expression. Here you can see we have multiplied rho delta V dash upon 4 pi epsilon r. So from this equation, so this is the q charge, and here we have considered as a point charge, in that case rho into delta V dash. Let us consider a time varying charge rho del V dash with a sinusoidal variation represented by e to the power j omega t. Heuristically, the effect of potential due to a change in charge would travel to the field point on the propagation constant k. So equation 33, this equation becomes del V, and by using this expression that we have represented in equation 34. So the potential at a point r theta phi due to the charge distribution rho x dash y dash z dash is obtained by integrating equation 34 over the source distribution, and that we have calculated by using this expression, where V is the volume over which rho exists, or the source volume. So this is the expression that we have get. So the instantaneous value of the scalar potential V r theta phi t is obtained, V r theta phi t, that we have obtained from the equation that we have discussed previously in this lecture, and through which we can calculate, and we are putting the value of V r theta and phi in this equation and considering the real part. Then we and putting the value of V is equal to omega upon that we have discussed here, V is equal to omega upon k. So we can calculate the expression of 37. So from the expression 37, it is clear that the potential at a time t is due to charge that existed an earlier time r by v. Here you can see t minus r by v. Here you can see this is the time, or the effect of any source has traveled with the velocity v to the observation point at a distance r from the source, Therefore, V is also known as the retarded scalar potential in this equation. So initially it is shown that the electric field scalar potential V and magnetic potential function A satisfy the wave equation with the source terms being rho by epsilon and mu into J respectively. Therefore, a similar uh, argument can be used to derive the relationship between the current density distribution J and the vector potential approach A function A r theta and phi. So starting from the expression for the magnetic vector potential for a static current density, we introduce the delay time minus r by v to obtain the retarded vector potential expression for the time varying current density distribution J. So the vector potential at any time t is related to the current density distribution at time t minus r by v from this equation that we have concluded. So the vector A has the same direction as the current density J. So the relationship between the current density J and the vector potential function A r theta and phi is given by simply multiplying the static relationship with e की power minus j k r term. So we have calculated the retarded vector potential, and which is equal to we have represent a r theta and phi is equal to mu upon 4 pi volume integral j x dash y dash z dash e की power minus j k r upon r into dv dash. So from this equation here you can see we can get the vector retarded potential function that we have represented by the equation 38. So this is the very important expression. If the current density to a surface with surface density Gs is given, then the volume integration of the vector potential expression can be reduced as A, and J, we have replaced simply J by Js, and the area we have integrated over the surface area S, so ds dash. So by using expression 39, similarly we can calculate for the line current A and mu upon 4 pi. So these are the three various expression that can be used to analyze different kinds of antenna. If we are considering the case of wire antenna, in that case we are considering the equation of 40. If we are considering the case of aperture antenna, in that case we are considering the equation of 39, and this is the generalized equation of the retarded vector potential. And these three equations are very important in the case of solution of the wave equation, or in the case of calculating the electric and magnetic field equation by using differentiation technique. So this is the important equations. Further we can calculate the field by using this simple procedure. So by considering the, and we have considered one most important is the source free region. So in that case we can calculate the value of magnetic field by using equation 11a, and electric field E by using the Maxwell equation by putting J is equal to 0 in a source free region and E is equal to 1 upon j omega epsilon del cross A. So in this lecture we have discussed about the computing of the field radiated by the electric and magnetic sources, or we have considered as a point sources, and through which we can calculate it for the vector potential function, and then further we can calculate the radiated field by using the expression of 41 and 42. Similar approach we can consider in the case of magnetic current source, and in that case by using the duality theorem we can calculate the solution of the wave equation as we have given in equation 38, 39 and 40. So only the difference here you can see in the case of magnetic source F, so we have represented by F, capital of F, in that case equal to epsilon, mu is replaced by epsilon upon 4 pi, volume integral of J is replaced by the capital of M, which is the magnetic current density, and other terms are same. So we can say the solution of the wave equation can be calculated by using this second step procedure that we have discussed in lecture 2 of this series. Thank you very much for watching this lecture. I hope this lecture is beneficial for you.